Hey guys, stay-patient here with a collectible guide for the audio logs in Livelock. This is a fun game with an easy and relatively quick platinum, so I do recommend it for trophy hunters. You can keep track of your progress in the database menu by scrolling across to the audio log tab. If you're only missing certain ones, then you can match up the names with the list in the description and use the timestamps to track them down. There are 16 story audio logs that only need to be grabbed once, and it doesn't matter which character you use to do so. They're the ones on the top row in the database with number codes identifying them. The rest we're going to refer to as chassis logs, but they'll be named after whichever character you use to collect them. There are 6 chassis logs, but you have to grab each one with all 3 characters, making a total of 18. They are in the same place each time, meaning we only need to cover them once in this video. So once you follow the whole guide through with one character, you can simply use the timestamps to go back via mission select and grab those 6 chassis logs again with your remaining 2 characters. With that being said, you can of course do them all in any order you like due to how open-ended the game is and how easy it is to keep track. You'll earn 5 trophies for grabbing these, 1 for the 16 story logs, 1 for each of the classes upon finding the 6 chassis logs with that class, then 1 for simply finding all 34. Okay, so first up we have Act 1 Mission 1, Machine Online. This is the first mission in the game, and there are 2 basic story audio logs in this mission. The first one is pretty much unmissable, to be honest. I don't think you can walk past it without picking it up. Here it is here. So just to give you your bearings, it's right next to these glass walls that you need to smash through. Now the second one in this mission is just after the cutscene in this room. You'll head out the door on the right to carry on with the mission, but rather than following the main path, just branch off slightly here on the right hand side, and the second audio log is right in front of us there. So on to mission 2 of Act 1, this is Core Uplink. Now we're going to be starting off from the very beginning of the level here. That's the hole that you kind of spawn in at. And if you make your way towards the main road, all the levels are relatively linear. Some of them are slightly more open than others. But on this road, as you carry on along, you'll see this plane that's been crashed. And just to the other side of the plane, if you hug its wall, then you'll pick up the next one. You can't actually see it, but just stand around where I am there. Now this is Act 1 Mission 3, Recovery Operation. Now if you start off from this big hole in the ground, this is where a bunch of enemies burst out and attack you. But we're going to be following the road around, and you'll see the waypoint marker on screen. That's pointing us towards the entrance to the underground. And that's on the right hand side of the road. So just so you can kind of get your bearings once again, that's the entrance we need to walk through. But if you cross the road to the other side, there's a wall that you can smash down, and there are some letters on the floor that originally spelt hotel, I'm guessing, and behind the wall, once you've smashed through, is our next audio log. Now this is Mission 4, Destructive Interference. So we're starting off here from the second objective. So there are 3 in this mission, we've done the first 2. If you come down the stairs from the second objective, and make your way towards the waypoint for the third. We're not going to be heading to the objective just yet. You'll see the pathway that leads to it just up there in the direction I'm pointing, but if you walk right past that turning and head down to the bottom of the screen, you'll see another wall that you can smash through just by shooting or walking through it, and behind that is our next audio log. Now on to Mission 5 of Act 1, this is Last Stop. So there's going to be a lot of sections with railway tracks in this mission, and eventually you're going to need to veer off one into this kind of cave area. And there are some generators, or whatever you want to call them, in this area, in this little section. When you exit out the other side though, we're not going to be following the railway track up to carry on with the mission just yet. You're going to turn to your left and head behind these trains, and it will just be in this location here. You'll see I just picked it up a moment ago. Now this is Act 1 Mission 6, Door Crasher. There are 2 collectibles in this mission. The first one is a chassis log. So this has to be grabbed with all 3 characters, and we're going to start off from the spawn point in the level where you first begin. If you head down the road and then just turn off in this direction, there's going to be another wall you can smash through. There's going to be a crate behind it, or like a chest with some loot in. And next to it is our audio log. So this is the first one out of the 6 chassis logs. Now if we start off in this same mission from where we fought Alpha for the first time, he's the boss that kind of multiplies himself. If you carry on past him, once you've killed him, into this area with all the tanks and the tyres stacked up, make your way into the central section of this area, into the middle here. There is like a black set of stairs you can climb, and at the top of these stairs is our next audio log. So, Act 1, Mission 7, Limited Edition. Now if you make your way to this room, this is a room you'll enter naturally as you're progressing through the level. You'll see this kind of circular pattern on the floor, and you'll see 2 of the objectives that you need to destroy. But on the opposite side of the room from those objectives is a sort of dead-end corridor, and there is our audio log. Now, this is Mission 11 of Act 1, which means Mission 8, 9 and 10 don't have any collectibles, but Mission 11 actually has 3, so we're going to start off from the beginning of the mission again, just to make it easier for you to find. And the first one is sort of at the cliff edge. If you head in a northerly direction, just head straight up, and when you get to this cliff that overlooks the water, there is the collectible just sat on the edge there. Now the second one in this mission is in the far corner. We're going to start off from the same location, from the spawn point, and we're going to follow the road up to the left here. Now I didn't actually realise when I first started playing this game that you could even sprint. You can press L3 to run and move quicker. Obviously moving a bit slower like this does make it easier for you guys to follow, but you'll notice in a few missions time I did realise that the sprint button was a thing. I'm so used to playing Alien Nation, I didn't think it was going to be possible. But once you get to the end of the road, make your way around this big hole in the floor, and in the far corner of the entire level is this audio log. Now the third one in this mission, in Lights Out, is a chassis log. So this is our second chassis log. If you start off from the room in which you fight a bunch of upgraded enemies and Coriolis, who's like I guess a mini-boss, make your way through the door that you need to go through to carry on with the level, and if you follow these walkways, rather than carrying on round the corner, you want to go through the door at the far end, and behind it is our second chassis log, so you need to grab that with all 3. So on to Act 2 now. This is the first mission, Crash Site, and we're going to start off once again right from the beginning of the level. I just figured it would make it easier for you guys to be able to follow the guide. Now it's levels like this where I wish I'd known that you could sprint while I was recording this, but we're going to be making our way in the direction that you have to go for the mission. But then as soon as you come across the railway track, rather than turning to the left and following where the mission sends you, we're going to be crossing the track and heading towards the cliff edge again, through all these trees, and there is our collectible just sort of on the edge of the cliff. The destruction in this game is pretty good, you'll probably notice. Now on to Act 2, Mission 2. This is Data Prospection, and this is our third chassis log. Now I'm using a different character because I accidentally picked up the audio log with the character I was using for all the others. But we're starting from the third Neosis Chrysalis. Once you smash that, there's going to be a junction, and you need to head down anyway to grab one of the other objectives, I believe. But if you do head down, you'll see the collectible right in front of us, and there is one of the other objectives that you need to smash just on the right there. Now, we're moving on to Mission 3 of Act 2. This is Skyscraper. Now, we're going to be hacking doorways, basically, those big sort of energy doors, and at the second door, we're going to need to enter this area on the left through the entrance, that glowing door, because to be able to hack the rest of that energy shield or whatever it is, we need to kill all the enemies in this room. Now this collectible is quite well hidden. It's actually inside one of these black consoles. You'll see me pick it up just there. So about where I'm standing, if you smash through the consoles just here, you'll pick up that audio log. Now this is Act 2, Mission 4, Colony Collapse. And we're going to be starting off from the second hatchery that you destroy by calling in an orbital beam. And that beam is going to smash away through this wall, and once it does, we can make our way through where the debris is, and the collectible is just going to be right in front of us. They're pretty difficult to miss, really. On to Act 2, Mission 5, Fire in the Sky. So for this one, we're going to fight Alpha once, and then we're going to cross a bridge, and it's going to disappear behind us, and we'll end up on this platform. Now on this platform, you have to fight a bunch of waves of enemies, and you fight Alpha again, but in this top right corner, there is our next audio log, so grab it at any point whilst you're there. Now this is Mission 6 of Act 2, Eye of the Storm, and this is our 4th chassis log, so again you need to grab this one with all 3 characters. And we're going to start off from the beginning of the level, and I finally realised that there is a sprint button. Woohoo! But this one is going to have these pillars around, like that one that we're just running past. There are a bunch of enemies tethered to those pillars, so once you've killed all the enemies, the pillar will kind of die and turn itself off. But just next to this second one that I'm pointing at, if you go just past it, up against the edge of this platform is our 4th chassis log. So go ahead and grab that. Okay, so we're moving on to Act 3 now, and this is the first mission, Frozen Wasteland. And there are 2 in this mission. We're going to start off from the first objective, which is like a pillar or a statue that we need to scan. And we're going to head in a sort of northerly direction. You need to follow the ice path around here. And then it's a little bit tricky to find this one. It's inside a cave, so we're going to look for the cave entrance. Now if you keep heading north, you'll come across all these crates, and you need to kind of make your way around this large ship that's moored in the ice. And then keep heading north again, and when you get to the edge of the level, you'll notice an entrance, a sort of glowing entrance just to our left there. You might have to look around for it. Once you found it, you want to head inside this cave. Once inside here, there's going to be an optional objective appear, and it will just basically task you with killing all the enemies. So I've already done that, as I've done with all the missions, cleared out the enemies. But on the far side from the cave entrance is our audio log up on a kind of snowbank here. Now our next one in this mission is from the second statue that you need to scan. That's where we're starting. This is the 5th chassis log, so you need to once again grab this one with all 3 characters. But from that second statue that you need to scan, we're going to head sort of up to the left, and just basically through all these shipwrecked boats. And at the far end, pretty much once you get to like the cliff almost, you'll see 2 boats next to each other. And there is the collectible just there next to the boat. You can probably see it just about. That's our 5th chassis log. And just to show you, I'm going to walk around a bit, just to show you that this is right up against the edge of the ice where it becomes sea. So on to Mission 3 of Act 3, this is New Moscow. This has 2 collectibles, our final 2. So we're going to start off from the beginning of the level again. We're going to follow the linear path up through the level, sort of along the wall. There's a wall to our left there. And further up the wall, you will have Boris and a bunch of upgraded enemies breach through the wall, through this gap that I'm just looking at now. But rather than going through the breach, you want to carry on past it, and up on the edge, just in the corner there, is our very last story audio log. So that's going to pop the Tomb Raided trophy for collecting all the story ones. Now we have our final chassis one, which is, if we're going to start off where the wall breach is, where we were just a moment ago, we're going to follow the path through. Obviously there's going to be lots of enemies here. This is the second to last level now. But we're going to make our way underneath this weird kind of twisting arch. And then there's going to be a couple of turrets. We're also going to fight an enemy called Vladimir. But at the far end is our very last chassis log. So that means that we are about to pop the trophy for collecting all of these chassis logs with the Catalyst class. But obviously you'll need to go back and do all 6 again with the other 2 classes. So of course you can use the timestamps to do so. I hope you guys are enjoying the game. If you're playing it, it's a great little hidden gem, so spread the word, because I think these developers have put more effort into their game than a lot of the sort of easy platinums on PS4. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope this video proves helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all very soon. Cheers.